Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world's famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Fantastic, man. How about yourself?
Well, I just discovered I had a hidden secret addiction towards Legos that I'm now suffering from. So that's where I'm at right now. Todd, Fleshroom producer Todd, how you doing?
I'm on to your ruse, sir. Are you slowly moving that trophy back so it gets smaller and smaller and smaller so we don't notice when it completely disappears?
You know, there
In a
are
flash,
few
you might say?
things. No, let's
For
not
those
get carried
not
away.
Watching he's wearing a flash.
Yes,
t-shirt.
those
Yeah.
listening to the audio version, I am wearing a Flash shirt.
Kind of
But I
keying out
don't-
a little too.
Okay, yeah, thanks a lot. It's yellow. It's not supposed to interfere with anything. If anything, it could just be used as a special effect. This is not any trick. What's going on here? Why do you keep distracting me from the point? The point is Todd's being a jerk because I'm playing with Legos. That's what it is.
I didn't mention one word about Legos. I play with Legos with my child all the time. I love some Legos.
Okay.
I'm just commenting on your shrinking trophy.
Right. I'm crossing insults because before we started recording, it was Greg saying, "Are you moving that trophy enough far back so you can replace it with the Lego?" And because I took that Lego insult and then you insulted me there, so I just crossed insults together because we were both being pricks. Now, today we are reviewing the fantastic film Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny, which was released on November 22nd, 2006. Todd, do you have a trailer ready?
Yes, sir. You say roll it?
Oh my gosh. Have we been through this before? I could swear, like, do you have a trailer ready? Is like implied, like, roll it whenever
there's
you're ready.
episodes where you were like, "Did I tell
This
you to roll
summer,
it?" So
New Line Pictures presents a story of unparalleled amazingness. A hero will rise.
Jack,
A legend will be born. What?
did you say this summer?
Yeah.
It's not coming out this summer.
This fall. This fall. It sounds so stupid.
You know what? Let me do it. This Thanksgiving.
It's not Thanksgiving.
When's it coming out?
November 22nd.
November 22nd. A hero will rise. Heroes will rise.
Your training begins tomorrow. At the crack of noon.
Sometime this year, coming up soon, a legend will be born.
Oh, sweet baby!
Jack Black,
Kyle Gass.
Tenacious D, in the Pick of Destiny. It's a story of importance.
Sasquatch! What are you doing out here?
You're ready to poop your pants.
Tenacious D, in the Pick of Destiny.
Oh.
I'd go.
That was the trailer for Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, again released on November 22nd, 2006. Rated R with a runtime of 94 minutes. Directed by Liam Lynch. Written by Jack Black, Kyle Gass, and Liam Lynch. Starring Jack Black and Kyle Gass. Initial thoughts on this. I remember seeing it in the theater before I even actually knew much of Tenacious D, anything. So this was basically my first introduction to Tenacious D was when I first saw it in the theater, and I enjoyed it. But of course, you enjoy it so much more once you delve into their catalog and just get a taste of their personalities. It makes this film so much more enjoyable. Greg?
I was the opposite. Knew about their catalog before the movie, which made me super excited for this film. And this film's definitely driven by the music, and rightfully so. Every bit of it was what I kind of expected going into it. So this was one that I was very excited to get back to because I haven't seen it in a bit. but it's always been on my you know Mount Rushmore of favorite movies.
Yeah, something I really liked about it is that you actually could still enjoy it without knowing much of the history between them. But if you are a fan of classic rock, you would automatically enjoy it because it has that feel to it.
Right.
Todd?
Right.
I think I'm the opposite because I'm the one who was familiar with their catalog but didn't care for it. It was just a little too corny for me at that time. But so I didn't go see the movie in theaters, but I did see it on home video when it hit.
Okay.
And I did like it. I mean, they had me with that first song, and that tone was set with Meatloaf, and I went along for the ride. And I still think their other acts a little corny, but I can enjoy it now. It's not like to the point it's like a little too much for me. So I think this movie really kind of flipped me on their stuff.
I could imagine it being how you listening to their stuff through an album. It's just going through an album, but
I remember
different
watching
songs.
them
Kind
on
of
stuff
just-
though. They always were on specials and stuff.
They were also featured in Biodome, by the way. Let's not forget that.
That's true.
But I think what made somebody like you who thought their act was corny or their songs were corny but enjoy this movie is that it still had the classic slapstick parody farce into it and had that rock opera feel to it, especially like Dio coming to life out of the poster was so fun to watch, and then the kids' reaction to it. It set you up for a quick 94-minute ride. Didn't take too much of your time, and I think that's what made it easier for you to digest instead of just listening to their music and then you think it probably, where's the point? I'm missing it or whatever.
It'd be like
At least with the movie,
humorous.
there was a story, there was going on, something to be completed. Which, by the way, we saw in the trailer, Sasquatch, played by John C. Reilly. Like, man, this movie is just stacked with cameos, and there was. I think we can get into the favorite moments at this point, unless any other initial thoughts.
I was just gonna say this. When I think about this movie, I forget about how much I like it because I associate it kind of in my brain, kind of gets mixed up with the movie I hate. I'll get shit for this, but it'll probably come up eventually. And that's Little Nicky. But like just the Devils, that it kind of like blends in my brain, and I really don't like that movie. So
It's all right.
I don't think it's fair to put these two in the same category.
I know it's not, but they both have that similar theme, so they kind of blend in my brain.
It's
like,
got a devil in it, and Todd's old, so that.
Which
But
I will say,
it's funny, it's humor, it's trying to be funny, I should say.
Satan here in this movie is actually played by Dave Grohl, which, like, watching it and then how the final act goes, it works so well, right?
And great to see him on drums again. Like, he smashes it still.
Absolutely. But some of these favorite moments, one actually was already mentioned in the trailer for me, getting up at the crack of noon. That one took me off guard. But what I really, and maybe this is just personal for me, but Amy Poehler as the truck stop waitress, just her lines there. Like, first, what do you recommend? I recommend you order some food. But after they order, how she walks off is exactly how Todd reacted when we said we were going to review this movie. So I thought that was so funny. Just the...
But how do you know it was this movie?
Because
it was one of the upcoming two. This may not be it.
Oh, okay.
Could be next week's show. Who knows?
Okay. I got confused. I apologize. I thought it was this one. But I still appreciate that moment just because, well, I guess that's more of an inside gag that happens a lot.
Well, she's going to be like, it was this movie, but
I haven't told you yet.
Fair point. Greg?
So there's so many great moments to choose from. The initial having Meatloaf be mad at rock and roll, brilliant. But I'm gonna say use a fun play on words and mention the prick of destiny. because there's a moment where where Jack Black is surrounded by lasers, and he needs to turn the lasers off.
All right.
And it's just that slapstick stupid that I was like, this is what I expect.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it stands out to me because it's one I was like, I'm gonna give you props for the reference. The Clockwork Orange scene we get towards the beginning with the I was just like, I don't know what they're talking about.
I was actually trying to research something before I let it out of the bag, but I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's my favorite bit. But one thing this movie did, and I never realized it to now, like I understand now, Fozzie is just Tenacious D without the humor. Like he doesn't get the joke the way his music sounds to me. Am I wrong?
That's pretty good.
It's insulting Jack Black a little bit, but
sorry.
Because I'd go see a Tenacious D show.
How many Fozzie shows do you have under your belt there? Ozzy.
I would.
Well, I did go on the first Jericho cruise. I don't know if that counts for anything.
Did you
How
watch
many
him perform?
Fozzie shows have you paid to go on?
That'd be a 0.
That's a good man. Vote with your wallet.
I'm just using that money on Legos.
Can you imagine
Good man.
being there and how mad you'd get when his theme comes? The one he uses for his theme, be like, you turn this shit off. I hate it.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. So in getting to review this, I think somebody with my just musical taste, being able to watch it without knowing who Tenacious D were, I enjoyed it on that alone. Even if they didn't have a back catalog of, their own music and whatnot, it would still be entertaining to watch from start to finish. And what I did like is it felt as though the humor was more spread out rather than, because a lot of comedies have their best moments front loaded, like in the first 30, 40 minutes. And then the rest just kind of like finishes telling the story. What I liked about this specifically is it felt like there was a lot of humor within the story. Right. So it didn't feel front loaded with a bunch of gags, and it just felt more evenly spread throughout, with the high point happening like in terms of being the most ridiculous is what we saw where basically we saw Black dressed as a baby Sasquatch. But if you haven't seen the movie, you'll find that out. As of this recording, August 6th, it is available to stream on Max if you have that available. But I believe that is where like the silliness peaked, so to speak, and then finished telling the story, but still had these funny moments where, again, it was spread out, and for that, it's a solid 5 for me.
Yeah, you put rock and roll with humor. I mean, you're already on a great platform for me. But this is just, like you said, throughout the entire movie, it doesn't really let up. You've got kind of different segments throughout that kind of break it up so it doesn't get stale, but it keeps the funny. It keeps you entertained. There's surprises throughout, which is great. And if I could turn my score up to 11, I would, but I have to give it a 5.
Well. This wasn't the movie, so tune in next week to see which one I groaned for.
Oh, interesting.
This one, well, I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna get yelled at for this. I don't think it's a 5 for me, but I'm a solid 4. I do really enjoy this one.
I think if the genre was in more like a genre that you're interested in.
If this was CB4, it's getting a 5. So there's no spoiler.
There you go. Which we have actually reviewed. If you'd like to check out that review in the past,
we got to do Fear of a Black Hat.
So if anybody has opportunity to check out when this movie was released, Tenacious D had the musical guest spot on Saturday Night Live, and they did the song "The Metal," except it was acted out on the stage, where I believe it was Kyle Gass dressed as a giant metal robot.
Yeah.
And you had like, so in the song, if you're familiar, there's a segment where he'll mention that specific genres tried to destroy the metal, right? But however, in this Saturday Night Live performance that they had, he was specifically listing bands. So you would have like people dressed representing bands and then just this giant metal robot knocking them all away. It was just so awesome to watch. It was like, because it was funny, but it was like, as a rock fan, it was very, very fun to watch. So if you have the opportunity to find that, see that, and
Check on
enjoy
Peacock.
that. No, it'd be too good for it to be on Peacock. Peacock is just there to annoy you and make you want other things. And I only say this because I tried looking for Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog in December '95, and it wasn't there. So that's my gripe towards Peacock.
Yeah, I mean, you go on there to watch the new Night Court, it just sends you to Amazon Prime to watch the old one. You know?
Did that really happen to you?
No, well, I mean, yeah, I watched the new Night Court, and quickly I was like, I'm gonna go to Amazon Prime and watch the old one because it's actually good.
Because the old one was not available on Peacock, but the new one,
Right.
or the old one was available on Prime.
Yeah.
Huh? That's a little backwards.
It's called
Yeah.
licensing. That's how it
Mm.
works. No one keeps everything in house
I-
anymore. They're over that.
I understand that, but it's still amusing to have a sequel series generate more interest for the original that's not on a platform that's producing the new content. That's what it's amusing. It's funny.
I get that, but they're not owned by the same studio. NBC, which is Universal, is producing the reboot series,
Right.
which is where the original aired, but it was produced by
Right.
Warner Brothers.
Right. Yes.
That
Okay.
if that it's more shocking it's out on Max, which it was. Now it's on when it got purged.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
Although this is coming up as I'm wearing a Flash shirt. So I think it's apt for me to say that Warner Brothers doesn't know what they're doing right now. So
at least it's not a
there you go.
Batgirl shirt.
At least it's not a Batgirl shirt because I would have no shirt.
Thank God. But at least it would be keying off into the poster.
Okay, that's such a minor thing. It really is. You're only staring. Stop. Just stop.
Okay.
I can finish the show.
Ozzy feels violated.
I know.
I know.
No,
No,
it's-
we're fine. We're fine.
Just making it
Fine.
better for me
No, I don't know how that makes it better for you.
because you feel violated.
I don't. I mean, honestly, I could just have my hand over my chest for the remainder of the program. That's totally fine. But any final thoughts on this film before we have for the evening?
Watching this, it makes me just want to go back and listen to their catalog. And by the way, I used to be an avid Guitar Hero fan and Rock Band and all those fun games. And they had the metal on Guitar Hero. And let me tell you, there are some songs in that game that when you play them, like it feels good. Like it feels like you rock it out and you have a blast with it. And that's one of those songs, whether it's the song itself, the note tracking that was done on it, but it just gave you a great classic rock feel. So yeah, if you've not seen this movie, check it out. If you've not heard their catalog, 100% go check it out because although it's humorous, they do rock pretty hard.
Todd?
Other than check it out while it's on HBO Max. I mean, it's worth the watch. I mean,
You mean Max?
God damn it. Yes. I mean Max, formerly HBO Max.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned, as of this recording, August 6th, 2023, Tenacious D and Pick of Destiny is available on Max for your viewing pleasure. And of course, if you are in the area, Monday I'll be hosting trivia at Lake Forest, the Rush Barn Grill, beginning at 6:30. Tuesday in Placentia at the Brewery, beginning at 7. Wednesday in Los Alamitos at Griffin's Grill, beginning at 7:30. And Thursdays in Anaheim at at the Honey Pot Meadery beginning at 7:30. Gentlemen, if you don't have anything else to say, then we will be back next week with a new episode. Once again, that is world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd. And I'm Ozzy V, and I'll be back next week with another shirt on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.